Slimy tentacles attacking you in your own bath? A day at the aquarium turned into a death trap? What happens when you get a kiss from a mermaid? All these stories on today's most amazing top 10, and without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have tentacles. Tentacles are creepy for so many reasons. They're wet, they're slimy, they look like they were made to drag you to the bottom of the ocean and rip you limb from limb. So it should be no surprise that we're starting off today's list with a breakdown of a story that was all about these slimy deep sea invaders. This creepypasta starts off with someone enjoying a nice bath. It should have been peaceful, it should have been relaxing. The person was laying down with candles, bubbles, the water was warm, everything was perfect, but then something changed. The temperature seemed to drop rapidly. Then some slimy tentacles came out through the drain and wrapped themselves around this person's body. They tried to struggle away, but the tentacles squeezed down. The water was ice cold, but the slimy ropes that were squeezing around the person's body seemed to be even colder. They pulled them under the water in the tub. They struggled to breathe. Some creature was going to drown them in their own tub. Then right then when it seemed like they were going to run out of air, they woke up. It was all a dream. They were just asleep in the tub. Then the water started to get cold. And right before we go any further, I want to remind you that you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and stick around until the end of this list for some bloopers, and let me give a huge shout out to our sponsor. Are you into battle royales? Do you like gaming on your phone? Do you like cute, fluffy animals? Well, do I have the perfect game for you. Zuba is one of the newest and best battle royales on the market. It's a zoo-themed battle royale where you have 45 players duke it out to be the king of the jungle. I think you guys will really like this game, so make sure you download it using the link below and you'll get some bonuses to get you started. The thing that sets this battle royale apart from many of the others is that it's pretty much a hero shooter. You have nearly 20 characters and each one of them has a specific passive and active ability that not only matches with their animal type and personality, but also can help each player find a unique playstyle to become the champion of this battle royale. You have Duke the Lion, who has a roar that can stun enemies, and he also gains a speed boost after he's been hit by an attack. There's also Finn the Shark, who can regain health when he melees opponents, and his passive lets him see where other low health enemies are. There's even more depth to the particular gameplay that each character offers. While battling, your characters can pick up 3 different weapons, and depending on who your character is, it will change how they use their weapons. On top of that, there are a ton of ways you can customize and upgrade your character, so you will never be short of fun things to explore. On top of all of that, this game is free to play and available on iOS and Android. Make sure you check out the link in the description below to get 50 coins and 40 gems for supporting the channel. Now, let's get back to this list. Coming in number 9, we have Lost. A couple vacationing in the tropics thought it would be a good idea to rent some kayaks and try their luck at checking out the ocean. They got a double kayak, they started paddling off the mainland. It was a beautiful day, so it would be perfect for them to see the most beautiful marine life below the crystal clear water. They went out far enough that they were floating right above a reef. The two of them stared down into the water and they saw schools of the most beautiful fish and exquisite clusters of coral. Then the water seemed to turn gray. The air suddenly was crisp. A thick dollop of rain slapped against the person's arm. They both looked up and saw it. A swirling storm had moved above them. They were too mesmerized by the coral to notice when it was flowing in. They started to turn their kayak to paddle back to the shore, but they must have floated a mile off the coastline and the wrath of the storm was already ripping at the water. It smashed against their kayak and tossed them about. They managed to stay inside the kayak, but the storm was pushing them further and further from the coastline. It must have been hours of them fighting to keep the kayak upright, and then, just as quick as it came, it was gone. They survived the storm, but they looked out to the open ocean to find an even greater horror. Endless blue water in every direction. They had no water, no food, and just then, one of them felt a rumble of hunger in their stomach. How long would it last before the other person looked a little too tasty? Coming in number 8, we have CRABMAN. Some marine biologists were doing research on a new species of crab they found in the Pacific. They had been studying these crabs by diving down underwater and viewing them in their natural habitat. They seemed docile, but then one of the crabs jets through the water and pinches one of the marine biologists on the finger. It seemed like nothing, but then his whole body started to transform into a half crab, half man creature. He was now CRABMAN. He started chomping down on dudes faster than Joey Chestnut clears a plate of food. Coming in at number 7, we have a zombie ship. A crew is on board of a ship heading through a storm. They're trying to make it through, but the waves are too harsh and the visibility is too poor. Normally they would have seen something like this, but they crash right into an island. Some of the men on board survive the crash and then bunker down to try and hold off until the storm passes. After the storm is gone, the remaining people do what they can to help those in need and try and find a way to get help. But something is terribly wrong. Some of the cargo leaked and whatever was in it is causing the dead sailors to rise from the dead. Now they are living and stuck on Zombie Island. Coming in at number 6, we have the trade. Sailors always knew of a legend of a witch out at sea that could grant any wish, even bring people back from the dead, but it was always at a cost. A sailor loses his wife and the loss drives him mad. He believes in the tale. There's only more fuel added to the fire when a con man tells him that he'll take him there to meet the witch, but for a price. The two men head out to sea. The con man thinks that he'll sail around for a little while, take the man to an island that he doesn't know, and then kill him and take everything he has. The two are out at sea, and then a fog surrounds the ship. The witch appears and she already knows the man's wish. She says, "I'll grant you the wish, but for a price." The sailor pushes the con man into the water and he says, "Take him. I remember the way back." Coming in at number 5, we have the cursed treasure. Two deep sea divers come across something that was meant to be lost to man. It's a chest. They use heavy equipment to haul it up to the surface. They get on board their boat, crack it open, and they see what must be billions of dollars worth of gold coins. This was the break they've been waiting for. They rush back to shore. They already have a few dealers ready, and within 2 weeks all of the coins are gone, and these two men are richer than they could have ever imagined. Over the course of a year, a mysterious sickness infects the two men. It's like black mold is growing under their skin. It keeps spreading and eventually their limbs start to fall off. If they had taken the time to learn the Incan language, they would know that on the chest it said, "Touch one piece of this treasure and you will be cursed with the rot." The question is, how many people have touched these coins by now? Coming in at number 4, we have the Sea Monster. A deep sea research vessel the size of a 3-story building is deep underwater. There were signs of life that have never been seen before, and this crew wanted to be the first to find them. They started excavating where they got the reading from, and something strange started happening. It seemed like seismic activity, like there was an earthquake happening, but that wasn't what it was. The ground was alive, moving beneath them. Something was under them, but they couldn't make it out. Then they saw it. They were staring into an eye twice the size of the ship. What did they just wake up? Coming in at number 3, we have sharks. A boy and his father are at the aquarium on a rainy day. It's a beautiful sight. So much marine life to learn about. They learn about how morays have a second mouth inside of their first mouth. They learn about how the lionfish is extremely poisonous and that bull sharks can go in fresh and salt water. The two of them are having so much fun that they barely notice the first puddles starting to form on the ground. Was there a leak in one of the tanks? They kept walking through the aquarium looking for an exit. For some reason, everyone looked panicked. They finally get to a doorway. They see a crowd of people and the doors are blocked with a monsoon of water. Was it really raining that much? The flooding trapped them inside the aquarium. Just then the water bursts the doors open and the father grabs his son and sprints for higher ground. The rushing water causes the displays packed with fish and animals to burst open. The father manages to climb up with his son to a higher point where the rushing water is just touching their ankles. They see someone trying to swim towards them. Just then a dorsal fin pops out of the water and the person gets pulled under. A gush of blood stains the water like someone had just sliced the neck of a pig right below the surface. Bull sharks can go in salt and fresh water, and it seems like the water is rising. Coming in at number 2, we have the lake. My dad told me never to go out to the lake at night. It's full of hate. He also hated when new people moved around the lake because they were normally young and didn't respect the land. Whenever they did, he would always do a little something to make sure that they left. One summer on the lake, a very annoying family moved in. They were loud, they left trash everywhere, and worst of all, when my dad asked them to be more respectful, they were rude to him. So I thought this time I should take care of getting rid of these people myself. My plan was to go out at night and prank them. This was a foolproof plan. A few scary noises played off of my portable speaker and they would be freaked out for sure. That night I waited for my dad to fall asleep and headed over, but when I got there, it wasn't what I expected. It was a horror show. There was blood everywhere, like like someone had just hacked the place to pieces. Then I heard the sound of my dad's boat taking off from the dock. All I saw on the boat was garbage bags stuffed full and cinder blocks. This is what he meant by the lake was full of hate. And coming at the #1 spot, we have the mermaid's kiss. The year is 1714, and a man is aboard a small sailboat with his crew. The men are working away and they hear laughter coming from the side of the boat. They peer over the side and they are aghast. There's 3 of the most beautiful women in the world swimming around the water. The men can only see above the neck, but these 3 women seem to move through the water more elegantly than the most skilled dancer does on land. The thought of saving the women flashes through their heads for only a moment, but then is erased when one of them pulls herself up the side of the boat. Her body still hangs off the side, she's completely naked. She uses one of her hands to hold the railing and the other hand to wave a sailor over with her finger. One man approaches slowly. The rest watch with their mouths slacked open. Nothing can be heard but the sloshing of water, the giggling of women, and the echoing smack of a sailor's shoes walking across the deck. He moves in close. She reaches her hand out to touch his cheek and she guides her face closer to his. She kisses him. Had one of the men looked away for a moment, they might have noticed the large spiny barb coming out of the woman's other hand. She pierces it through the man's neck and then slips back into the water, pulling him in with her. The only proof that she was ever there is the blood splatter left on the deck. Men aren't the only ones who like to fish out at sea. Alright guys, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Thank you so much to Zuba for sponsoring this video. Check out the download link in the description. Until next time, I've been your host, Jade Arena, and watch out when you're underwater because you might have bad stuff happen.